Hello, everybody. My name is Max, and welcome to another listening course lesson. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at part 2, and we're going to take a look at a sample example together, a sample test. We're going to answer all the questions together. We're going to see how we should start this part, what we have to do, how to predict the answers, how to find the answers before even you listen to the audio file, and everything like that. So let's get it started. All right, here is an example. Now, one thing you got to do, the first thing after you finish part 1 and you're going to start part 2, as I told you, when part 1 finished, you just immediately turn to part 2. Forget about part 1. No more timing on part 1. You just forget about it. Come to part 2 and start reading. What should I read? The first thing you're going to read is the title. It always gives you the idea of what the topic is about. For example, here it says game developer, so you understand the topic is about developing games or game developer. It's probably a person talking about games. Now, what should I do next? The next thing you have to do is read all the sentences and try to predict what you need in each gap. Don't worry, these are not the answers. These are just the predictions. And we're going to do that together as well. So the first sentence says, as a child, Mike's main interests were playing video games and reading blah, 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 blah. So my prediction here is that as a child, what can you read to be interesting? Probably it's going to be a type of book that you read. It can be, for example, horror, I don't know, something that you find really funny, or it can be something like science fiction or something that makes you want to read. So here it says as a child, so you know that it's something that kids will read, and also it's a type of reading. The second one, it says his original ambitions was to become a blah, 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 not a game developer. So we expect here a profession, a job, which is not a game developer. Whatever that he was, it was his original ambition. So we're looking for a job here. So you have to listen for something that he says. The next one, when he was at a school, he formed a games blah, 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 blah with other students. So you know that you have to, it's about forming something. It can be something that involves gaming, also requires other students. So you have to just listen to see what exactly it is. Always remember the cues that we talked about. When the answer is near, he's going to tell you something. He's going to talk about something that he was doing with other students, and then he's going to give you the answer. So listen for that cue, and then you can get the answer easily. The next one, number 4. He worked in his summer holidays in order to get blah, 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 blah. So when you're working as a child and you work in summer holidays, what is the reason? So it has a reason, right? It can be because of money. It can be because of knowledge. It can be because of, I don't know, to gain experience, something like this, right? So we want to see the reason of working in summer. The next one says, one thing he enjoys is doing blah, 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 blah to find solutions for games. Now, what do you do to find solutions? Well, that's what you have to find. You have to find something that that person does in order to find solution for games. Can be testing, I don't know, something that he does in order to find the answers. All right, the next one, number 6, it says, he likes working with people who have both blah, 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 that are unlike his. Now, there are many things we can find about this sentence. The first thing is we have the word both. Now, both is telling us that we are expecting 2 things here. So we are not expecting 1 word. We expect at least 2 words here. For example, and it has to be unlike his. It means those things that that person want to work with others has to be completely different from the things that he has. So be very careful. That can be a trap here, but you have to listen for the things that are different and he likes to do. He likes to work with the people that they have these kind of, for example, things. All right, so we expect 2 things here because of the word both. The next one says he thinks games developing is a blah, 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 not something to do alone. So game developing is something that is not. So we understand here that is definitely something that you should do with others. So it should be something that involves other people as well. It's not something you do alone. All right. The next one. He has worked on many successful games, and one is now a blah, 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 blah. Now, it can be a book. It can be something that he turned to, right? It can be a book. It can be a movie. It can be something. So we're expecting that to see what exactly that game become. Now, all of his games? No, one of the games that it was successful. The next one, large games need blah, 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 blah to develop. So he prefers working on the smaller ones. So it should be something that larger games require, such as money, time, a lot of people, working hours, blah, 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 blah. And that's why he doesn't want to work on the larger games. And the next one, number 10, in future, he intends to start a blah, 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 blah. So something that he intends to start in the future. It can be a new company, starting a new game, new business, whatever. And that's what we expect in number 10. So these are all our predictions. And now I'm going to play the audio file. You do also have all the predictions on the right side of your screen, which is here. And I want you to listen and answer all the questions. After that, we're going to take a look at the answers together, and we're going to see how close our predictions were to the answers. Okay, remember, after you listen one time, you can go back and listen again. Okay, you have to listen 2 times.
Good morning. It's great to be visiting this school and talking to you. As you know, my name's Mike Selby, and I'm a games developer. I thought I'd tell you a bit about my background and my job, because for many young people, it's the sort of job they dream of doing. You know, turning your hobby into a career, so to speak. Well, it'll be no surprise to you that when I was a kid, I used to play video games and things like that. I was also a huge fan of science fiction, and I used to read whatever I could get my hands on. I spent hours doing that, even when my mum and dad thought I was up in my room doing my homework. Anyway, I never really expected to become a games developer. My aims when I was at school were a bit more realistic, I think. And my dream, actually, was to become a computer programmer. I mean, I was good at developing software, and I thought that'd be a much safer career, where I'd make far more money than developing games. But, you know, games were a bit of a passion of mine. And while I was at school, I got together with a few of my friends, and we set up something we called the Games Creation Club. You know, we'd go through the process of having an idea, planning, sitting down and developing software and so on. At the time, it was just about the most exciting thing in my life, and I spent all my free time doing it. And then I was given this opportunity, which was even better. Word got around that I was good at writing software, and a local company belonging to someone's dad offered me a summer job. Of course, I had planned to go travelling with friends, but the chance to gain experience doing what I enjoyed was just too good to miss. In the end, I worked for the same people for 2 summers. I worked much harder than I ever worked at school, and I loved every minute of it. Games development is the most creative thing you can imagine, and you can go wherever your imagination takes you. I love it. I love working on the problems, and I love carrying out experiments to work out how to deal with those problems. Also, it's a very rich environment. And one thing which makes it so good is that I find myself working with colleagues whose skills and interests are completely different from mine. I think that it actually helps to have a good, diverse range of people in the team, and we all learn from each other. In fact, you probably have an image in your minds of a games developer sitting alone in front of a screen all day. In fact, it's an extremely social activity. We're always swapping ideas, playing games together, even going out to the cinema as a group and picking up ideas there. While I'm on the subject, cinema is another of my passions. And one of the biggest thrills for me was when one of my games, The Snake Quest, was made into a film. Have any of you seen it? Yeah. You have? Great. I hope you liked it. Nowadays, I prefer to work on smaller games than that one. The reason being that those huge, complex games take several years to make, and I don't like to spend so much time on things. I prefer a bit more variety. Well, I hope I've managed to inspire a few of you here. Just to let you know that in the next few months, I'm planning to set up my own business developing games, and I'll certainly be looking out for new talent. So if any of you are interested, drop me a line. Here's my email address, and I'd be pleased to hear from you. Thank you.
Awesome. Very good. Now you can listen one more time. Please go back. Just try to go back and listen one more time and then check your answers, okay? You can do it right now. Fantastic. Did you do it? Did you listen for a second time? Awesome. Now let's take a look at the answers together. So with our predictions, let's see if you could get all the answers correctly. Check out yourself and see how many correct answers you got. So here are the answers. So the first one, as we predicted, it was a type of reading, which was science fiction. You see, these are all exactly the words that the person said. The second one is computer programmer, which we predicted it should be a job. The third one is a creation club, games creation club, that we predicted it should be something that you do with other students, which is a creation club. The fourth one is experience. We predicted that as well. Remember, we said it's something you do in the summer holidays to get money, experience, or something, but the correct answer was experience. The fifth one was experiments, which again, we predicted that one and we said do something to find solutions for games, and it was experiments. The sixth, as you remember, we said it should be two words because we see the word both. And it's completely true. We have two words, skills and interests. The seventh answer is social activity. Again, we predicted it should be something that you do with others. Now, the cue was exactly the person says. Most people think that it is something that people usually do alone, but it's extremely a social activity. And you could see the cue easily because the person said something like that and said something about being alone. And after that, he gave us the answer, which was social activity. Number 8, also, we predicted it should be something that one of his games became, which was a film. And number 9, as you remember, we said it should be something that large games need. And the answer was several years. And number 10, the correct answer is he intends to start a business. And we also predicted that, and it was completely correct. And you can also write developing games as well, business developing games, which is fine. But if you just wrote business, that is completely fine. You can get the answer or you can get the score for this as well. Now, what was the key to get the answers right? As you remember, we talked about many things. You have to be very careful. First thing is prediction. If you predict the answers just like we did, definitely it's going to be way easier to find the answer because you know exactly what the person is going to say in the audio file. Otherwise, it's going to be super difficult for you to find the answer. You don't know what to focus. And always there is going to be a cue, as we mentioned. The person will give you some kind of a hint that the answer is going to be next sentence, next couple of sentences, and you can easily find the answer in that case. So be very careful of the cues. They will give you the answers after that. The cue, as we mentioned, is related to the sentence before or after the gap. They will say that sentence using other words for you to understand that the answer is very close. So they will use other words to describe the sentence. before or after the gap. And in that case, that's your cue, and you understand, all right, the answer is pretty close, and I have to listen carefully right now for the words they use. All right, now for the next exercise that we're going to do in the next video, we're going to also take a look at this script. Here, we're not going to take a look at this script, but for the next video, we're going to also go a little bit deeper into this exercise. We're going to take a look at another exercise, another question. Again, you're going to predict the answers. We're going to answer together, but after that, we're going to take a look at all the transcript. We're going to take a look at sentences, finding the cues and everything, so that you feel 100% confident. For part 2 also, we're going to take a look at another video after that, doing the same exactly thing with another exercise, so that you feel 100% confident and ready for that. And after that, you have a couple of exercises, again, yourself, without me. You have to do it yourself to be completely ready for part 2, and then we go to part 3. All right, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.